My dearest brothers and sisters, this is Tunia speaking. I love you so very much. The situation on your world keeps being harsh and unfair, but things are also slowly improving. In particular, the level of consciousness on your world keeps increasing, which we consider to be of critical importance. The higher the level of consciousness is, the less that the dark controllers will be able to execute their plans and the more that civilians will feel empowered to build alternate structures. It has been said on your world that you change things not by criticizing existing structures, but by building better ones. This is very true. There are some promising initiatives along these lines, such as the One Small Town initiative and many more. One way in which this situation can end is if the white hats or counterforces arrest the bad guys. Another way in which this can end is if enough normal civilians simply exit the system, so that it collapses. The time is right for ordinary people to build different and more humane structures and communities, outside of the current system. If you feel called to do this, now is a great time for that. That said, if you do not feel called to do this, that is fine too. Perhaps you contribute in another way, or perhaps right now it's best to work on yourself or your own situation. Due to the rising level of consciousness on Earth, both scenarios are becoming more likely every day, either that the white hats arrest the bad guys, or that enough people start leaving the system so that it collapses. So, what kind of things are and are not good for your level of consciousness? One thing that's not very good for your level of consciousness is watching mainstream media, because it's overly negative and because often it discusses things that are not within your power to change. That only stresses people out. We would also recommend you not to consume too much alternative media and alternate news. It's good to have a broad idea of what is going on, but beyond a certain point, consuming that does more harm than good. Alternative media, too, often focus on negative stories that most people are not able to do anything about. Aside from this, it's important not to suppress or judge or try to change your emotions. Often Earthlings try to focus on the positive, and that is very valid, but only if it's genuine and if you don't have to suppress negative feelings to accomplish that. Hakann's message discussed a method to work with your negative emotions, titled, The Observation Path. So, what kind of things can you do that do facilitate the raising of your level of consciousness? Well, just observing or feeling your emotions and thoughts helps, so long as you don't suppress or judge them. Spending time in nature helps. Spending time with loved ones helps. Having enough rest helps. Moving your body helps. Doing things you enjoy helps. Meeting your needs helps, even if those needs are so-called shallow. You may have your own ways too of raising your level of consciousness. And despite how much I have talked about raising your level of consciousness in this message, it's completely understandable and fine that some people right now are not focusing on that. For example, maybe you need to get your current life on track. Maybe you are focused on some practical project. Maybe you are struggling just to get by and are in survival mode right now. I would like to ask you 2 questions today. You are invited to write your answers in the comments section. 1. What is the primary goal that you are trying to accomplish the coming months? Are you just trying to keep your head above the water? Are you trying to meet new people? Are you trying to accomplish some task? Anything else? 2. What is your strategy for accomplishing this goal?